Hello there, this is Jimmy Page and you're watching Classic Rock. I'll tell you exactly what the companion discs are for. First of all, you have to understand there's just a lot of live material came out of Led Zeppelin, but it's just the studio albums that would come out, and then there was Mothership, which was a sort of collection of various sort of high points, if you like. But to actually be able to revisit and remaster the Led Zeppelin catalogue was superb in this sort of day and age, and in all the different formats that the catalogue is listened to, and to be able to do vinyl again, but really, really good, because John Davis was, I was working with John Davis, and he was mastering, and he cut the lacquers and all this sort of thing for the vinyl. You know, he's a real master, if you like. So the prospect of having him, so that we going back to the original analogue, you could now present all the detail which is in these records, okay? So, whereas you've got one end of the scale, you've got like MP3, which squashes it up and it sounds like it's all been remixed. We've got nothing to do with that, John Davis or I, we've got nothing to do with that at all, although people listen to that, and I'm not criticising that. But what I'd like to do is to have the version, the studio albums out there in the clarity and in the depth, so that you can hear the depth of field, if you like, of all the instruments and the way that they were originally mixed in. You know, I took a lot of trouble on these things in those days, and to present all that detail and to present all the extra information. Well, I tell you what it's for. It's for the people not just heard Led Zeppelin, but all those people out there who've listened to it and understand why it works, you know, and how it works at counterpoint, and these sort of, the fact that the whole thing is relying on this incredible performance individually by the musicians and collectively. And so you really want that, all that information to be, or all the detail of that to be there so that you can hear it properly. So that was the whole of the process, really. But that's what it was for. It was for the fans. Well, I thought one cough was enough. Although it would have been more appropriate on the end of this one, because the one on the companion disc is as good as counting in like 1, 2, 3, 4 start, and it just goes all the way through. And you can appreciate there's a lot to remember. It's not all cut up and stuck together. It's something which is like from the beginning to the end. And so at the very end of it, when we're sort of getting into what could have been a fade, and it was proposed that it could be a fade, well, we start improvising, and Robert and I are trading off. This is exactly how Led Zeppelin were on stage. This is exactly the whole thing, this improvisation and something which would occur, which hadn't been rehearsed or routined or whatever. There it was, and you're just living it, you're really on the edge. And John Bonham's giving all he can give, you know, and by the end of it, we come to the last sort of chord, and he just sort of coughs, because I think because of the sheer effort of it all, you know. So it was all right to put it on the original one. Well, I knew it was an unparalleled band. I mean, even going through all of these mixes that I had, reference mixes, work in progress, the alternate versions. I mean, I hadn't been listening to those every year regularly all the way through, so some of those I was coming back to, some of them I hadn't really heard them since those days, you know. But it's just undeniable that the power of the band and conviction of the band, the real honesty of the band. You can hear it in the musicianship. It was ahead of its time, musically, that's for sure, as far as the recorded work, because I think that the fact that it's lasted all those years, decade upon decade upon decade, and it's not a band that just sort of pops up every 15 years or so. It's been current to young musicians and people who enjoy music ever since. No, because I know what I've got to do. I just got to get it in focus. It's only the same. I'm using the same techniques to get whatever the terms that people have used, or I used, or match fit, or whatever you want to say, limbering up. I'm using exactly the same system that I used on the run-up to the O2. for myself. You know, it's self-discipline and working towards whatever it is I'm going to do.